Hello and welcome to Win Over Depression. I am your host, Tamara Trotter. This podcast is dedicated to those who suffer with a mental illness but try every single day to feel better. It's also dedicated to those who have loved ones who suffer in silence and want everyone to know about this debilitating condition. You know, depression is one of the most undertreated conditions in the entire world. Did you know that every 50 seconds someone is taking their life? It is truly a pandemic, and we must do what we can to spread awareness about mental health. Today, we'll be talking about mindset and how important your mindset is when it comes to really everything in life, but definitely when it comes to managing your mental health. So what is your current mindset? Do you feel as if you are now in a place where you can overcome your circumstances and get to that place in life where you deserve? Are you accepting of your condition? That's one of the first things that we have to do. Once we accept that we suffer with a mental illness, we are in a much better place to now put into action a plan that is going to help us manage our care. Self-care is also the key to feeling better. Every morning you should get up, take a shower, don't stay in bed. Make sure you have a plan for the day. Eat a healthy breakfast. Make sure that you're getting in a lot of protein. Make sure you're eating leafy vegetables. Stay away from candy and sugary drinks. That's one of the things that you can do to practice self-care when it comes to managing your mental health. Set realistic goals. Break tasks into smaller, manageable steps, and make sure that you are able to achieve the realistic goals that you have set for yourself. Remember to celebrate the small wins. Engage in some activities that bring you joy and give you a sense of accomplishment. It's so important that we also focus on the present. When we focus on the future and what we think the future may entail for us, it sometimes makes us sad, but we can never know what the future will bring because we can't determine that. We have to live in the present moment, deal with whatever is in front of us. Sure, we can plan for the future, but we should not be so focused on the future that we cannot focus on what is in front of us. We have to be patient and persistent. We have to make sure that when we are managing our mindset, that we are not surrounding ourselves with people who exude negativity. I know it seems like a laundry list, but there are so many things that we need to continue to do in order to keep our depression at bay. We need to limit or completely take out alcohol. If you can just limit it, it's going to help you. But if you can reduce it immensely, you're going to feel that much better. How about your sleeping? Are you able to sleep? Getting 8 to 10 hours of sleep every single night is essential. And that is why I wanted to share with you that Win Over Depression is currently on TikTok. And on Monday, February 26th, we will have a live and free webinar. In order to register, all you have to do is go to the Win Over Depression TikTok page, and on my bio, you will see a link that says Pensight, PENSIGHT.com. Click on that link and it will take you to register for the webinar. There are 2 sessions on that day. One will take place at noon Pacific Standard Time, and the second one will take place at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Come and find out ways that you can overcome your mental illness. I will also be sharing a brand new mental health diary that I have, as well as an ebook. So I hope to see you there. Remember, giving up is never an option. Stay in the game of life. Hello, and welcome to Win Over Depression, your beacon of hope in the realm of mental health. I am your host, Tamara Trotter. I am your companion on the journey to reclaiming joy and resilience. In this podcast, we'll unravel the vital importance of managing your well-being amidst life's challenges. from practical strategies to uplifting stories and expert advice. Each episode is a roadmap to cultivating mental wellness and overcoming the grip of depression. Whether you are seeking solace for yourself or supporting a friend, here you will find the tools and inspiration to navigate the complexities of emotional health. Join me as we embark on a transformative quest to prioritize self-care, resilience, and the triumph of the human spirit. Let's together redefine the narrative of depression and embrace a life of purpose and fulfillment. Today on Win Over Depression, we'll be talking about control. So let us first define what is control. Control is the power to influence or direct people's behavior or the course of events. Truly, influence is probably overrated. And what do I mean by that? We really cannot control what people say or do, how they act. We can influence their decisions. We can encourage them to go in a certain direction, but we really do not have control over people. The problem, however, is that when we know that we don't have control over other people, we are still affected by their behavior, by their words, by their actions, by their inability or unwillingness to do something, or their outright outrageous and ridiculous behavior. And quite frankly, those of us who deal with depression and mental illness, it is very difficult for us to successfully navigate our mental health when we are around people or friends who want to control our behavior. Especially since this world has become so stormy and uncertain, and we just don't know what's happening sometimes from day to day or moment to moment. When we allow people to influence us or to do things that we may not do, we are causing ourselves to have setbacks in our mental health. We have to remember that our actions and our actions alone are our responsibility. It is very difficult to manage and to thrive when there's so much happening and you're not sure which way to go. That is why guarding your heart and making sure that you are around people with your best interest at heart is so important. I learned a very tough lesson recently, listening to someone who did not have my best interest at heart, and I allowed that person to infiltrate my mind long enough for me to cast doubt on a certain situation. But that is why we have to be careful about who we talk to and who we allow in our circle of influence. This particular person has not been in my circle of influence, yet I allowed for long enough this person to pour negativity into my heart, and I had a setback as a result. However, looking back on the situation, I should have considered the source. We must always remember that many people who come into our lives or who may be family, we still need to make sure that we do not allow them to adversely impact our spirit. Because when we are uncertain and when we allow negative influence into our heart and mind, it increases our stress, our anxiety, and worry while reducing a sense of control and stability. Over time, these effects can lead to more serious mental health conditions such as depression, burnout, and chronic anxiety. But When we build resilience, practice self-care, and develop and practice healthy coping strategies, this can help mitigate the negative effects of uncertainty on mental health. Believe me, other people may not be concerned about how their behavior and their words affect you. That is why we have to be careful, because we know about the character of some individuals, and they are, many of them, unfavorable individuals who are miserable. And we cannot allow their misery to cause us to have a setback. And that's why we have to be careful about who we speak to and allow to pour into our spirit. I cannot stress that enough. Have you ever heard the saying that we must control the controllables? There are so many aspects, situations, and circumstances that we come across that we have absolutely no control over. We cannot control the person who cuts in front of us on the freeway. We cannot control someone yelling at you over something that isn't even worth their breath. All we can do is control our reaction to that individual. And when we are managing our stress in a world that we cannot control, we have to practice and focus our energy on the things within our control and let go of what we cannot change. And it is very true that life is so unfair in so many ways. The best thing to do to fight what is unfair in life is to take success, your abilities, your strengths, and make and create the best life for yourself and your family as possible. Try to eliminate interacting with people who will be jealous of your success. So the art of letting go is releasing the expectations that we have of others and finding our own inner peace. When we find our own inner peace, we are able to let comments that people make roll off our back. Is it easy? Not necessarily. Can we do it? Definitely. But it takes a mindset shift, and it takes the thought process that I'm not going to allow other people to steal my joy. Somehow we must find joy in uncertainty, and we do that with gratitude and a positive mindset. If we can focus on gratitude and joy and think positively, we can shift perspectives and enhance our mental well-being during difficult times. It is so important for us to shore up our coping skills, because oftentimes it is our inability to cope that leads us to burnout, that leads us to believe that we cannot climb out of this quicksand. But when we are able to show the gratitude and keep the positive mindset, we should be able to get past and get through what other people place on our shoulders. So we can establish routines and structure, like a morning ritual, make sure we are having consistent sleep, and these routines can anchor us in uncertain times and help to calm the often unpredictable situations that impact us. When we can practice mindfulness and ground ourselves by doing exercises like deep breathing, meditation, or yoga, we can ground ourselves, which in turn will help manage anxiety and prevent emotional overwhelm. There is so much that we cannot control, but there is much that we can control. If we limit our exposure to negative information, because when we are constantly consuming news or social media, this can heighten our feelings of stress and chaos. We have to set boundaries for how much news that we will consume and instead focus our activities on what brings us peace, such as maybe reading, having a hobby, spending time with loved ones, listening to music, experiencing a comedy show, or doing something that will definitely put a smile on our face. So I'm hoping that by listening to this episode that you realize that you have more control over your situation than you may think. Let us talk a moment about controlling our thoughts, because our thoughts is what leads to non-action and prevents us from doing things that we want to do. We listen to our mind that says, don't get up off of the couch. Continue watching TV. You don't need to clean up or wash dishes. You can do that tomorrow. When we decide and put things off to tomorrow, when tomorrow comes, we still don't feel like it. So we're frustrated about our circumstance, but we do not have the courage to get up and do something about it. When we exude and exhibit courage, that means that I'm going to get up and spend 15 or 20 minutes cleaning up the area around me because it causes me stress and strain. Do it when you don't feel like it. And when you turn around and look at the progress that you've made, it will, in fact, reduce your stress. Sometimes we are affected by our surroundings and they have an impact on our ability to act. But we have to outsmart our thoughts by going against what is often planted inside of our heart. Sometimes we must make a concerted effort to say, I am not going to allow what my thoughts are telling me to overtake my mind. There are 3 things that I need to accomplish today, and I will get them done. When those 3 things are done, I will allow myself to rest and to relax, but not until they're done. When we're able to control and make a decision to go against what our mind is telling us, we give ourselves hope, we renew our spirit, and we decrease our episodes of depression. Once our mind realizes that we are beginning to make a shift, then the negative thoughts and feelings will start to subside and we will begin to start thinking more positively. But it takes time. Remember, the 14 Days to Mental Health Wellness is a course that I have, will give you 14 days of instruction to change your mindset and your mind focus and get you back on track. If you're interested, you can send me an email at the end of this episode and I will get the information to you. I never want to end my podcast without thanking you so very much for listening. You continue to be the best part of Win Over Depression, and I am very thankful for my loyal listeners. Thank you for being here, for sharing this podcast with others, and for making us one of the most elite podcasts on mental health today. Remember, you can find us on LinkedIn, Pinterest at TT Mental Health Expert. You can also find us on TikTok at 14 Days to Mental Wellness. You can like and subscribe to my YouTube channel, also called Win Over Depression. And you can also find us on Twitter and Instagram. Thank you so much for listening. If you are contemplating suicide, please do not take your own life. Your family, your friends, your loved ones, they will not understand and they will blame themselves. What you're doing is passing on that pain to other people. Please don't do that. Please stay here. We want you on this side of heaven. Please go back and listen to many of the other episodes on Win Over Depression. Sleep it off. Call for help. Call your accountability coach or call 911, but do not take your life. Remember, we must stay in the game of life because we all have a purpose to fulfill and an assignment that is just for us to fulfill. No one else can fulfill it for us. Thank you so much, and I will see you next week, next Friday on Win Over Depression. Take care.